LEGO Go. This is definitely the most obscure entry on this list, as it is a Russian game show from the mid-1990s. It aired on a channel called ORT, later changed to the First Channel, from April 1st, 1995 to March 19th, 1998. In LEGO Go, two teams of children would compete in LEGO-related challenges, like in one episode where they had to build the tallest and most structurally stable tower out of bricks. Another had them build a small set without using the instruction manual. The final challenges for these episodes had the team captain seeing who can build something while blindfolded. In the end, the winners would get a sticker. Good prize, I know. Sometime in the 2000s, the show was rebooted as KB Legonaut, with there being 3 teams instead of 2. Also, the prize was much better, as the winners would get free tickets to Denmark's Legoland. Due to the obscure nature of this show, there aren't that many episodes out there. There were rarely reruns and no home media releases at all. Due to the high cost of VHS tapes in Russia at the time, it was very unlikely for there to be homemade recordings. The ones we do have are scarce, and there are still members of the Lost Media Wiki actively looking for them. Echo Zane reveal on Sons of Garmadon. In Season 8 of Ninjago, there's supposed to be a massive reveal that ended up getting cut during production, which disappointed lots of fans. Sons of Garmadon was still a great season, but this could have made it even better. The voice actor for Zane, Brent Miller, would post a video to his YouTube channel where he tells the full story. During the first half, he interviews Tony Andresen, one of the co-creators of the show. Tommy says the show's writers, the Hagman brothers, pushed to have the character Mr. E secretly be Echo Zane. Echo Zane briefly appeared in Season 6 as a defunct clone of Zane. However, there were a lot of story inconsistencies that could never work out. Like, how did Echo Zane get so strong he could beat normal Zane? How would Zane know who Echo Zane is? What narrative purpose would this have for Sons of Garmadon? So because of this, it was sadly cut.
Yeah,
the details of that.
And the Hagemans told me when they came up, they said, "Oh, sorry, man, we're changing direction because with this story arc, it just wasn't giving it. There's not enough attention on that. That would be a really big story part, but there's so much going on in Sons of Garmadon already." They said. But it's interesting for me though, as they didn't want me to do. They wanted me to just do like a Zane, like a lower smooth voice. They didn't want me to do Echo Zane's voice, which actually was higher and goofier than Zane.
Yeah.
Brent then shows a rough storyboard and a pre-rendered animation of the scene between Zane and Mr. E, which are really interesting to watch. Again, it sucks that this couldn't be incorporated into the show somehow, and it turns Mr. E from a potentially interesting character to a bland one, who got killed off twice in pretty pathetic ways.
You are...
LEGO The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies DLC. The video game company TT Games released a LEGO Hobbit game in April of 2014, which received mixed reception. It only covers the events of the first 2 movies, as the third one, The Battle of the Five Armies, wouldn't be released until December 2014. So, in January 2014, it was announced that a DLC would be released towards the end of the year that covers the events of that film. However, this was never released, despite other, smaller DLCs being released that year. GameSpot would then release an article covering this, where they show the full statement they got from Warner Brothers. The LEGO The Hobbit video game gives LEGO and Middle-earth fans a fun, new way to experience the legendary adventures of Bilbo and company, as told in the first 2 films of Peter Jackson's The Hobbit trilogy. The game provides an excellent setup for the concluding chapter of Peter Jackson's film, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. There are no plans to develop DLC based on the final film of the trilogy. It's been a full decade since this, with obviously no plans to release any sort of game based on that movie. Unmade Mixels episodes. Similar to Ninjago, Mixels was a LEGO theme which got its very own TV show on Cartoon Network, though it didn't last that long. It only had 2 seasons, airing from February 12, 2014 to October 1, 2016. Years later, fans noticed several unused production codes, which could be for lost or unfinished episodes of Mixels. The half-hour episode, Mixel Moon Madness, had various codes that went unused, which could have been for deleted scenes, or shorts that were unused for later episodes. There were other production codes that were used for cut scenes in the iOS and Android game, Calling All Mixels. Some theorize that the missing clips and episodes featured unused characters that were never released as sets, or at least released as Mixel sets. This chocolate bar guy from the LEGO Movie 2 was actually supposed to be a Mixel set at one point. A member of the Mixels wiki actually got the chance to talk to one of the voice actors, Billy West. Billy said that the production was rushed, implying that the show was quickly put together. This could have led to parts of it being scrapped. There's a lot more speculation regarding supposed episodes, so we'll leave the link below if you want to learn more about that. Beneath the LEGO Phanta Sea. Also known as LEGO Sea Challenge, this game was supposed to be released in the late 1990s amongst other LEGO games. It was a spin-off to the widely successful LEGO Island game. There was even a massive Easter egg hinting at Phanta Sea within the game. Developed by the same company, Mindscape, it was supposed to be based on aquatic LEGO themes at the time, like Divers and Aquazone. The senior producer of the series, Scott Anderson, once said, "It was about 20 years ago, so things are a bit hazy, but the game had submarines and divers trying to stop a Brickster-type character from upsetting 5 to 7 different underwater ecologies. LEGO was very excited, but then Mindscape imploded. Too bad, it was looking beautiful." As he alluded to there, the game was never finished due to internal conflicts. Mindscape would end up firing an entire team who worked on LEGO Island a day before it was released. Its director, Wes Jenkins, explained it as, "Well, time, budget, technology, and other, but mostly because Mindscape got into a dispute with LEGO over distribution and lost their contract. Political issues mostly. They didn't realize the potential profits of the product and what LEGO was about. In fact, they couldn't quite understand why we didn't just do a simple 2D program instead of 3D. Is that libelous? No, I didn't mention any names. Maybe I should just say some people from some unknown places seemed less enthusiastic and were paranoid every step of the way." LEGO Racers, the video game. In the late 2000s, various LEGO boxes featured teasers for upcoming video games. These include LEGO Castle, the video game, LEGO Space, the video game, and LEGO Racers, the video game. All three were technically never released, but the first two were merged with the unpromoted game LEGO Pirates, the video game, into the 2009 release LEGO Battles. So what happened to the LEGO Racers game? Well, we still don't know. It wouldn't be until 2013 when a random developer from Firebrand Games opposed proof of his existence. These include 2 in-game screenshots and 4 rendered videos. These all showcase some of the vehicles that would have been featured. The same developer also said that the game was meant for the Nintendo DS, though this didn't seem right. The screenshots show a much higher graphical quality than the DS was capable of, making fans speculate it's going to be a Wii game instead, though it is entirely possible this could have been made for both consoles. Adventurers Cartoon Network series. There's a 2017 thread on Lost Media Wiki detailing a supposed animated series set to air on Cartoon Network in the late 90s. It links to a thread from a few years earlier on the site BZ Power, which also shows evidence of it existing. This evidence is a 1998 UK LEGO magazine, which was archived. Don't miss the special 9-part Adventurers cartoon on Cartoon Network. You will soon be able to follow the adventures of Sam Grant and his friends on the satellite TV channel Cartoon Network. 9 special episodes will begin from the 23rd of March on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with an Anibus edition on Sundays. All the new characters, Sam Grant, Miss Pippin Reed, the Professor, Harry Kane, Evil Eye, and Lizard Boots, will feature in this action-packed adventure story. For those confused, Sam Grant is a nickname of Johnny Thunder, the main character of the Adventurers theme. It was one of LEGO's biggest themes at the time, with Johnny still being referenced in LEGO media to this day. In a time before Bionicle and City, it made sense for the theme to have its very own TV show. However, there's no other evidence for its existence. The ad implied it aired, so where is it? One member of the forum says it might have been like the Exoforce or Power Miner shorts, not full episodes. Another user ended up confusing it with the 2010 film, The Adventures of Clutch Powers. The Billion Brick Race. This is one of 2 cancelled theatrical LEGO films, which fell through due to the partnership ending between LEGO and Warner Brothers. Originally set to release in 2017, it soon changed directors from George Pierce to Jorge R. Gutierrez. You recognize Jorge for directing The Book of Life and co-creating the Nickelodeon show El Tigre. He worked on the film for quite some time, before quitting due to how long it took to conceptualize. On Twitter he said, "The film I wanted was a racing film about race, privilege, and gentrification, with references to all my favorite 80s and 90s cop and action movies. I left the film in 2018 when I didn't think it was going to get made. These days, time is precious to me, so if I don't think something is going to go, I leave instantly." Warner Brothers ended their movie deal with LEGO, with Universal acquiring their rights and pretty much doing nothing with them. There's quite a lot of interesting concept art involving the film, which you can find online along with some test footage. LEGO Superfriends. This was the second cancelled theatrical LEGO film, meant as a sequel to 2017's The LEGO Batman movie. It would have also been directed by Chris McKay, and it would have been released in the early 2020s before its fate matched the same as Billion Brick Race. In an interview, Chris described the story as, "It was truly epic, both from an action standpoint and from a story standpoint. The structure was Godfather Part 2, a story about Batman's relationship to the Justice League and Superman, now as well as the formative moments of the Justice League and Batman's relationship with Superman then." He also compared it to Boogie Nights, saying the film would have been a really great comedy. Chris then said that Batman and Robin's character arc from the first movie would have been expanded upon, describing its theming as friendship and change. It was about how hard it is to change, to commit to change, to stay on the new road you've carved for yourself, especially when maybe you weren't such a good guy to your friends. Your old friends might not be able to see the new you. They might still live in the past, but as the movie and Robin finds out, the past might be more complicated than it seems. LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars Beta. As a way to promote the upcoming game, LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars, a beta was released in January 2011. Based on the popular Clone Wars TV show on Cartoon Network, it would allow you to traverse across famous planets in a 2D landscape. On each planet, you can compete in minigames, like ones in the style of Capture the Flag where you would have to collect bricks to build a staircase in order to reach a goal. There were many unlockable characters, which would be collected by getting enough studs or using cheat codes. There are actually quite a few gameplay videos on YouTube, one even showing off these cheat codes. This MMO was available online due to LucasArts, until they were bought out by Disney in 2012. It was completely shut down by April 3rd, 2013. Typing in the URL now just leads to the website for the widely released game. There were captures up on the Internet Wayback Machine, but now they only show promotional art. Very few assets are available online now. LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars event. Around 2012, there's supposed to be a big Roblox event based on the Clone Wars line of LEGO sets, the very ones that our last entry was based on. This entry is way more obscure though, with the only proof of its existence being various assets found online. These include textures, meshes, character models, and animations of certain characters like Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper. It was cancelled due to the previously mentioned 2012 acquisition by Disney, which cancelled loads of other Star Wars related projects. This crossover is actually the first known Roblox event to be cancelled. What's really odd though is the other assets on the page of Stefan Job. There are 2 Herofactory renders of Stringer and Voltex in the 2012 Wave Breakout. Does this mean there is going to be a Herofactory event too? And speaking of Herofactory, Herofactory Movie. Unlike the other cancelled LEGO films on this list, this one is supposed to be in live action. Yes, a live action Herofactory movie. If you're not aware of what Herofactory is, it's a LEGO theme from the early 2010s meant as a replacement for Bionicle. It's about various robotic heroes being built to protect the galaxy from massive threats. It was actually decently popular at the time, even getting its own CG animated show on Nickelodeon, which I talked about in this 2022 video I did. In May 2012, it was announced that Universal was negotiating for the screen rights, with the script being possibly pinned by Michael Finch and Alex Litvak, who wrote the 2010 film Predators. Interesting choice, but alright. A few other members of the crew were listed, including producers Mark Gordon, Brian Zurif, Ben Faulkner, and Dean Schneider. Not much else was announced, not even a plot synopsis. In 2014, towards the end of the Herofactory theme, users on bzpower.com discussed what could have happened. Graphic designer Kevin Hinkle, who worked on the theme, said it was seemingly going to continue for a few more years. Its longevity could have made the film possible, but the toy's declining sales ceased any potential. As one of the few remaining Herofactory fans, this could have definitely been an interesting movie to see. Maybe the villain could have been the Witch Doctor or Von Nebula.